Alright, so this story is called Native Bloodshed. And basically, it takes place back in like the cowboy and Indian days, where these two notorious bank robbers, Clyde and Sid, go on like a big killing spree and basically taking over banks and stuff that they go and steal money from. So they've been doing this for a good, say, 15 or 20 years. And they met when they were really young. And it all started where the kids had like a bad background and they had family members and stuff that looked poor. And, they wanted to find things in life and they couldn't get it. So basically, they came up with this agreement that when they got old enough and they could carry concealed weapons, that they were going to be bank robbers. So this plan fell through, and they basically became bank robbers. And for like the next 15 to 20 years, they became notoriously wanted posters everywhere in the climbing city. The wanting bank robbers. So basically, they go and they heist this one bank. And the bad thing about it is that there's a lot of nuns and stuff at this point. They've never ran across a bank where they've had nuns in it. So when they go into this bank and stuff, they hold everybody at gunpoint, they tell everybody to get down. And they got they got their faces covered, with bandanas and stuff so that nobody can see them. But anyway, I guess one of the people that are in the bank had seen them on a wanted poster, so he tried to get a shot off that, it's Sid. And Clyde, he told Sid, like, watch out, and basically they almost got, one of them almost got shot, but avoided, a bullet. So Clyde shoots the guy that shoots at Sid, and then they go to the cashier and they get all the money from the banker, sorry. They get all the money from the banker and they saddle them up on their horses. Well, one of the people come running out of the bank, trying to get away, and Sid shoots him. Well, one of the people that were trying to get away was a gun. So basically, Sid shot her in the head, and claims like, what are you doing? He's like, we don't kill women, we only take all men, He's like, I didn't mean to, I thought it was somebody that was trying to, shoot us down or something. And he goes, oh no, so they take off on their horse. Well, basically, word gets around town, and one of the sheriffs in the county that they were in, sends bounty hunters to go and kill them. Well, as time instead are halfway, across the state of where they were, they get caught up by one of the bounty hunters that were hired to kill them. And basically, there was a total of 5 bounty hunters that were set up to try and find these guys. So it gets late, and one of Sid's horse throws a shoe. So Clyde, because he can't sit on the horse with him because they got all the bags and money, they don't need room. So basically, they walk on foot for a while through the desert, and they come across this reservation where there's a bunch of Indians. Now, Clyde and Sid, because they're cowboys, they didn't get along with Indians. So they go there with their guns cocked and everything, and there's an old man sitting, on a rocking chair in front of the reservation. So they go up there, and they're like, we need to stay here. And the Indian is talking Indian, so they don't understand. And basically, Sid points the gun at his head, and Clyde comes over and lifts up the Indian, and he walks him, basically, they're walking him to where they need to go, and they go to like one of the CPs, I guess you could say, and they aim at it and they say, us there, and the Indian shakes his head no. And then Sid lifts his gun up at his face and he shakes his head yes, and he's like, yes, so he shakes his head because he doesn't want to die. So they go there and they get the money and they stuff it in the teepee, the reservation camp. And basically, the old guy, they walk him back to his chair and they say, smart stuff, otherwise you're going to get killed. And they said, if anybody asks if you've seen us, you shake your head no. And he said, understood. And the Indian kind of sits there, and he looks at him and he says, and he cocks his gun up, Sid cocks his gun up at the Indian, and he says, understood. And the Indian shakes his head yes. So basically, he can understand what he's saying. Well, anyway, Sid and Clyde, Clyde goes and lays down because he's tired from walking, Sid starts dozing off. Well, anyway, Sid and Clyde both hear, like, some noise and stuff. Like, ritual or something like a ritual going on, like somebody, is like doing like some voodoo or something. And Clyde wakes up, I was being scared, he's looking around, he's sweating and stuff, and he said, looks at Clyde, he's like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah, they're probably just doing something, don't worry about it, let's sleep. So Sid, he's looking around, he slowly lays back down, and Clyde rests his head up against the teepee. So basically, Clyde got his head rested up, he started seeing all these visions in his head of people he's killed. And he's like seeing flashbacks, he's like, no, 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 and he's getting scared through his dream. And basically he's like, no! He wakes up real loud and he thinks like, what happened? He's like, I had a dream. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm having flashbacks and visions of the people we killed. And he's like, that's not good, So basically, anyway, they're sitting there, and they're talking, and they're like, how are we getting it away? Your horse through his shoe, we only got one horse up, how are we getting it out of here? And he goes, I don't know, we'll have to think about it. Why don't we just go to sleep until very long in the morning? So they both try to fall asleep, but then they hear like a horse riding, and they both wake up because they know that it's one of the bounty hunters that was sent to track them down. So they're sitting there, in the teepee, and they got their guns cocked through the little hole that, spans the tent. So they're looking through, and the Indian, he's sitting there and being interrogated by one of the bounty hunters who's asking if they've seen him, and they can't see the Indian, but they're guessing, that he's doing what they said, like telling, anybody that they never saw him. So then you see the bounty hunter run away. So anyway, Clyde and Sid, they go up to the Indian and they're like, what did you tell him? The Indian speaking in native language, so they don't understand, They're like, this is no good, we need to get out of here. Well, anyway, they go to grab their horse, but the horse isn't there. So Sid runs up to the Indian and Clyde, and he's like, what did you do with our horse? And the Indian speaking his language, he's like, what did you do with our horse? The Indian shakes his head no, like he doesn't understand. So basically, Clyde and Sid are stuck there, so they go back to their teepee, and, they're trying to think about how they're getting out of there. Well, basically, it starts raining, so it's storming now, storming in the desert, which is rare because in the desert it never rains hardly. Well, something must have happened, and it's raining, so they're stuck there there for the night. So anyway, they're sitting up, one's watching at guard, he's sitting up, sleeping, looking at the guard, and one of them, Sid, is the one that's sleeping, so Clyde is the one that's watching, sitting guard. Well, anyway, Sid, he started turning over the sleeping stuff like he's having nightmares now. And Clyde says, what's wrong? He's like, now I'm having, the same kind of thing do where flashbacks of people that we killed. And he's like, this isn't good. And he's like, I've never had this happen before, out of the 15, 20 years that we've been doing this, this has never happened. He goes, I don't know what's wrong. And he goes, he says, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. He's like, you just have to try to sleep this one out, So basically, they both fall asleep. And Clyde wakes up the next day and looks over at Sid, and he's still kind of waking up. He's like, yo, wake up, we gotta get out of here. Well, he looks over there and he sees that Sid isn't there. All that's there is a bag of money from what they stole. So Clyde's like, what the hell? And he runs out of the tent, he's calling Sid. He's like, Sid, where are you, Sid? And Clyde goes up to the Indian, because the Indian sitting inside of one of the reservation houses they got. And he's like, what happened to my partner? And the Indian, he's kind of like smiling and he's talking in his native language, and he puts the gun to the Indian's head. He's like, what happened to my partner? And the Indian's still like bickering on his native language. He's like, oh! So he gets real mad and he's staring out of the thing and he's like, Sid! And he's screaming. And he doesn't know what happened to him. So basically, he's walking around in the desert, he's got no water, no canteen or nothing, so basically he's getting dehydrated. Well, anyway, as he gets a little bit further away from the reservation, he just drops down because he's totally, he doesn't have no food in his body, so he's totally run down. And basically, he blacks out when he hits the sand. And he wakes up like hours later, and he's inside a reservation room. But he can't move or nothing because he's tied down. And he's looking around, and there's like a crazy Indian guy that has these feathers on him, and he's got like a doctor's robe on. you know, but he's got his face covered in like war paint. So he's looking over at Clyde, who's like strapped to the table, and he's saying all this native like I don't know how to say, like a spell or something. He's like, yeah, like, hey, you know, and he's doing this stuff, and Clyde's like, stop it, shut up, don't do that, you know, and he's like, hey, and basically he's doing like a spell. So basically after this, you know, Clyde's getting angry, and then the Indian, after he does this stuff where he puts like this paint on Clyde's head, you know, like this war paint, doing like this symbol stuff, like a say like it's like it's a symbol that he's doing in his language, you know, and he's like doing all this different types of art on his face. Well, after that, the Indian goes in tribal. I'm sorry, tribal. He's doing tribal markings on Clyde's face. So after that, he unties Clyde, and Clyde gets pissed off and shoots the Indian. You know, so he killed another person. Well, Clyde runs out, you know, he sees his brother coming after him. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" You know, and Clyde's got all the same markings and stuff that are similar to what he has to his face. And basically, Clyde, you know, he's sitting there looking at Sid. He's like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you?" You know, and Sid goes and grabs Clyde's face, and he turns his head in a full 360 degree and like breaks his neck. You know, and then after that, you see Sid fall to the ground. Well, then basically these hands come up out of the ground and pull them both underneath. And basically that's how the story ends. But it was an ancient ritual ground where the ritual, where basically what it does is it read like your the sins you had committed. And if you were on hollow ground, you know, sacred ground, you were penalized for that, and basically it could turn people against each other and make them kill each other, and that's how, you know, the Indians handled it. So that way there was never no bloodshed or anything. Basically, it was your own personal hell on earth. So that's how the story ends.